and this is not the angle that I want. uh, Again, hi, hello, fellow humans. It is I, Alan Ayano, a normal human being, just like you, that is not totally an alien. Trust me. Oh my god, could you really imagine that? Like, could you imagine a random alien just crash landed, takes over a streamer's body, and just be like, hello, humans. It is I show speed. I am a normal human being. That would be so freaking hilarious. I'm gonna do something with that. Just an alien taking over your body, just getting gamer subs every freaking second. Man. Bro, that'd be so funny. You have two different. Bro. And then you just have two different types of aliens just beefing. Like they both different species that took over two different types of streamers, and now those streamers beefing. You looking like, bro, what they even got going on? That's a beauty channel, and this is a gaming channel. How? Why are they even beefing right now? Come to find out, they have the they have the FBI, CIA, SWAT team, U.S. Army. Everybody swatting they home on live. Everybody like, oh, we expect this already. Meanwhile, come to find out, everybody like, oh my God, he's an alien. Actually, no. Knowing how our governments are, we be covering that up. You know, I haven't really discussed conspiracies on here like that for real, for real. Like, yeah, the majority of Americans believe in aliens. I'm gonna be honest with you. Those who say they don't, because they have that mentality of, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, no. The only reason that you believe in something that you can't see is because there's physical proof for it. We have indirect proof. Like, there is no way that we are just a floating rock and we're just by ourselves. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that we're just a big ball of mass rotating some plasmatic hydrogen along with some other ones that are just deserted. There is no way that we're the only freaking planet where there are multitudes of planets over there with the same exact biome, same exact development rate. I wouldn't even say the same exact sun, but you feel what I'm saying, right? So the possibility of aliens are not only likely, it's a guarantee. The only thing that isn't a guarantee is the fact that they'll be able to travel, into which I still state by my fact. Why would you take a spaceship when you can just, like, you could just Star Trek it, except you just do it from your home planet. Like, you feel what I'm saying? The way they just deconstruct their whole body and then they're reconstructed on a different planet. You can just do that, right? It's so energy efficient. Light travels way faster, and then you can reconstruct your body as soon as you get back here. Why would you even want a spaceship, something that eats up energy, something that takes a while to build, no matter if it's just a second? And on top of all that, you're telling me you're willing to go millions of light years far away from your planet. Not even, because here's another thing that you have to take into consideration, and that's time dilation. Meaning, you could set foot on this planet for 1 second, then you can go back to your home planet, and boom, 30 years done passed. You 30 years younger, everybody else 30 years older. Your kids got kids. You feel what I'm saying? So not only would that just solve that issue, there would be no way to trace you. That's the main one. Like, you want to know why some of these UFOs are really just government crafts? That's why. The amount of technology that we think aliens will have would be something very vast and different. Like, y'all thinking they traveling in ships, meanwhile they just instant transmissioning to this freaking planet via their light body. And it's nothing, and it wouldn't even be difficult because they found an energy efficient way to do it, a way to do it quickly, a way to establish a freaking portal. As a matter of fact, as a matter of freaking fact, you want to know the main thing that hammers this down? Steven Universe. Even though it's a freaking cartoon, they actually had this, where they had freaking portals where they just teleported. Their whole light body was just deconstructed and then reconstructed in another place, to the point where normal human beings like freaking Greg and freaking Connie can go from one place to the other and still be okay. That type of technology is exactly what I'm talking about. So not only are UFOs highly unlikely, it's idiotic. Because if I'm a highly advanced, intelligent species, why would I spend all that time doing this when I can do something that's way easier, way quicker, and way better? As well as something that people wouldn't even find, especially if I'm not supposed to be on that planet. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel about it personally. Now you see why I feel so strongly about this, because the amount of technology that we think these aliens have, it would be so much advanced to the point where people, simple people who, nah, let me go switch that up. Complex people who even believe in aliens can't even comprehend that they would do something so simple. But why wouldn't you? I don't care if your brain is intelligent like that. Why wouldn't you do something simple? Like, bro, what's a great example? Come on. If we knew how to create bowls, why would I keep creating this if I wanted to drink this? If I could create this, they're both made the same exact way. Again, this is for example purposes. And you see what I'm saying, right? If there's an easier way to do it, then why not do that? And now you start to really see the bigger picture. Like those alien UFOs, those things, UAPs, bro, those are government experiments. That's all that is. That's all that's ever been. Meaning those things that are freaking hyperdroid, hyperspace, whatever, they're just going so fast to the point where you can't see it with the naked eye. Or they probably just cloaked it in time. Meaning, yes, I believe in aliens, but I also don't believe in UFOs because it's idiotic. It's ridiculous. I I swear to God. Like, if I ever come across some, and it ain't a matter of if, it's a when I ever come across some and I see that, I'm gonna be so mad. Like, I'm gonna be so angry. Not at the fact that I'm seeing it, but the fact that y'all had the audacity to do this right in front of me. Like, how dare you have a have a spaceship when you can do something way easier, bro? Like, oh my god. Uh, is this like, bro? Like, the perfect analogy for this is like watching a parent watch you make the same. It's like a parent watching you make the same mistake that they did. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? When really you ain't even telling them. But man, that's just my opinion on that. Let's get away from conspiracies. Nope. Bring ourselves back into conspiracies. Okay. It's a hidden, no, it ain't even finna be a hidden fact. It's just freaking truth that freaking governments cover up so many things, especially hidden technology. That's a fact. Like, there's so many instances of that happening in history. Everybody knows that. That's a history of aliens and UFOs, but UFOs could be government cover-ups. Sasquatch, I don't know. I can't say. Mythical creatures. Depends. Depends. I would like me in my heart. I believe they're real. At least in my heart, I believe that dragons are real. But another hot take, and I'm gonna need you to hear me. Future Treads, hear me out. Hear me out. Carnivores, dinosaur carnivores are dragons. Now, It is very true that fossils do not do not maintain the wing structure. You know, if we were to interpret dragons as having the wings of bats, no matter how they're shaped, then you already know that's not going to be uncovered in the skeletal records that are being discovered currently as well as in the past. Which is why it's also hard to deconstruct and reconstruct an animal from only skeleton, because all you have is the skeleton. And again, which is why most of those dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, despite that being my favorite movie, are just unrealistic. Like, even they made a book. No, there's a specific person that made a book that basically did this thing called skin wrapping, where you basically just formed an animal based on their skeletal makeup. And they did it for penguins, flamingos, hippos, dogs, etc. And when you look at that book, you're like, whoa, they kind of look like monsters. But then you look at how it actually looked, and you'd be like, that's a dog, that's a cat, that's a flamingo, that's a cassowary. Which really puts that into perspective. We have no freaking clue what these animals looked like in the past. We don't know if they had extra features. Because I hope you know, just because something has a skeleton doesn't mean that it has a freaking muscle structure. And yes, there may be certain things that when we look at certain animals and even ourselves, we can just observe and be like, okay, this type of muscle will probably go here and this will be here. There are certain things that, I'm gonna be so honest, random animals just will not have. Like, for example, nostrils. Snakes don't have them. They smell with their tongue. That's a little bit of trivia. As a matter of fact, when they stick out their tongue to go and survey their area, all they see are just thermal. Hold on. Thermal. I'm trying to see because it ain't ultraviolet. Infrared. Thermal infrared. That's what snakes see whenever they stick out their tongue because they have no nostrils. So when you take certain things like that into consideration, you really have to ask yourself, what did these animals really look like? Like, did they really look like the dinosaurs that we seen in movies? Did they look like dragons? Did they have something extremely different that we can't even conceive because it's so new, so different? So why would you do that type of situation that we couldn't even conceive that into our own minds? We simply don't know. And that's the main thing that I want to get to. We don't know. Not even the most intelligent of scientists know everything. And we put our faith in those people to know everything. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't. All I'm saying is that you should recognize that not everybody knows everything. Not everybody knows what happens when we kick the bucket. Not everybody knows what life was before the Big Bang or before God created the universe or whatever you believe in. And not everybody truly knows what powers up the soul. Is it eternal? And if so, how was it created? Nobody knows that. And you can't assume that we know that. And you can't just come out and say, based on today's technology, oh, we're nothing but AI programming with specific programs, this, that, and the third, when really we're way too complex with built-in skills that we're able to build up, no matter what environment you place us in. So that's what I'm gonna name this. I freaking named this as a quick talk back. But this is episode 22 of the Young Yellow Podcast. Life is romance. Life is romance. And look up romance because it's not that lovey-dovey thing. Life is mysterious, unknown, yet exciting at the same time. You don't know everything. But when you go and make that journey, it's so amazing for what you would discover or what you will discover. And that's amazing. And that's the only trait that us scientists really have right now. And that's the fact that we are so open minded. That is what truly separates the scientist who progresses versus the scientist who stays in the same space. In order for you to truly be a man of science, no matter your level of intelligence, integrity, and structure force, you have to have an open mind to new ideas. You have to. It is a given because if you don't, you are going to throw away an idea that is the miracle that you were asking for. And I had to learn that the freaking hard way. So many freaking times. So many freaking times I was staring at exactly what I wanted to create scientifically. But I was just like, I'm going to put it away. Come to find out, I come back to it. I'm like, hold on, let me go do this. Or let me go do this. Instantly works. And I sit back like, bro, you telling me I could have did this all this time? So I could have been had this. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we stop ourselves because we're not open-minded. We have to get back to being more open-minded, more optimistic, more curious. There's a specific word I'm looking for, but we're going to continue. You have to have that type of mentality whenever you create something, because if you do not, you're going to miss out on the greatest discovery ever. Do you really believe, and this is a classic story, do you really believe that Isaac Newton would have really became popular with the idea of gravity if he would have ignored that apple? Oh God, I didn't I didn't got into chaos theory. We didn't circle back into chaos theory. Ooh. For those of you who do not know, chaos theory is basically the domino effect, but unpredictable. Meaning you change one small thing, everything else fails, or everything else succeeds, or everything else changes so drastically that you don't even know how that one small thing did it. When really it was multiple variables that you did not account for. It's like you tripping in the house, and then instead of you just running out the door, you just get angry. You chose to get angry, not knowing that that saved your life, because you could have went out there and the car could have just. But that moment of you choosing to be angry, or even if you just stood back and just be present, be like, let me calm down, and then you stepped outside, and then you seen a car just pass by so freaking quickly. That's chaos theory. For example, there are so many other examples, but here's why it's relevant. If Isaac Newton would have gotten angry, or he would have just threw the apple away and just walked away from that tree, it would have took us so much longer to understand gravitational force. Somebody else would have came across it, but we wouldn't have had it as early as we did with Isaac Newton, you know? Which is why I say be open to literally anything in this freaking life, because you don't know how it's going to change your life. Because, man, the amount of stories I can tell y'all. And if you want, and you already know what I'm doing, I can't help it. I got phlegm, which is nothing but freaking mucus in my throat. But I did it to myself, and I can't blame nobody else. And I'm taking accountability for that. And I know I'm going to do it again, but I don't really care. So back onto this. Actually, back on the phlegm. And then we're going to circle back to the dinosaurs being dragons. But phlegm, everything in your body is nothing more but mucus. When you get sinuses, mucus build up. Get a sore throat or something coughing up, mucus forms. Mucus in your stomach, cyst on your wrist, mucus, etc. Highly acidic, very bad for you if overdone. Just like everything in life. You overdo it too much, it's bad for you. Now, back on to freaking dinosaurs being dragons. Have y'all ever wondered why freaking the Rex have those tiny little arms? And you're like, maybe using them to push up on them or do something like that. And yet they're so strong. What if they were meant to have wings? What if there were more to it, but it got destroyed? I mean, let's be honest, 65 plus million years at that has passed. So not only would that be plausible, I'd say it's almost a guarantee that some of these creatures would have had wings. Like, yes, they were probably derived from birds, but who were to say that their wingspan weren't as large, if not larger? And yes, you can bring up the point of what about the pterosaurs? Why are their bone structures still there, while something like a T Rex, Velociraptor, etc., is kind of destroyed? And I can't answer that for you. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't know. I'm not gonna lie and say I know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. But I don't think we should count it out just yet, because it may be possible, especially for the type of creatures that were so many years ago. You never really would know. Mm. Now, what's another type of freaking conspiracy? We talked about freaking dragons being plausible. I'm not going to talk about that government cover up. Everybody knows about those. We've talked about. Hold up, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We talked about aliens and how UFOs gotta be government things and how aliens are actually real. Let's talk about one more freaking conspiracy. I want to end. Ooh, ghosts, phantoms, spirits. I'm finna go say, no, we finna speak right now. I don't, to those of you who don't believe in ghosts, I have nothing to say to you because I can't convince you. I don't want to say I can't convince you, but it's up to you to believe. At the same exact time, there have been multiple accounts of multiple people, of multiple races, of multiple ethnic groups, of multiple genders experiencing the same, of multiple ages at that, experiencing the same exact phenomena. And while, yes, you can freaking discount, I wouldn't even say discount, you can fact check some of those. There are just some that you cannot fact check. Man, hold on. There are just some you cannot fact check. And that's because there is no way to explain it. Like, there are just some phenomena that you cannot explain. And if you want to know a specific theory that I have, I'd say they're just operating on a different electromagnetic spectrum. Because everything is electromagnetic in nature. Our atoms in our bodies, the way we think, the way we see, even the colors, they're electromagnetic radiation. They're visible light. I think on the pico frequency or something higher, I don't know. But something higher than that is ultraviolet light. And then you have something lower than that called infrared light, what we talked about earlier with the snake. And so when you have something like that, different frequencies, both higher and lower, that have been proven, especially radio frequencies, because no matter if those radio towers go down or not, those radio frequencies are still going to be on this planet to this day, which is how you can energy harvest, but we ain't going to get into that today. However, beings that can only be seen if you're able to transmute certain frequencies into visible frequencies. That's the only way that you'll be able to see a ghost. And even still, spirits and ghosts do things, and specifically target human beings. Because here's the one thing, and I want all the scientists, anybody years from now, please look into this. Look in the moisture content and the temperature, those two. Look into that. I need y'all to look into this. To any of those in the future that are looking back at this, look into those two: moisture, especially the ionic dipole that is water, as well as temperature. Because no matter where you are, that's where most of that activity takes place. No matter if it's foggy, no matter if it's wet and damp, it's an old house that's creaking, it's something. It's always there's always a level of moisture, which means that hints to water connecting to another plane of existence that is parallel to ours, that we are living and walking past every single day, but we can't perceive yet. And the only way we can is with water, which is also why certain people can hear voices even though they haven't ever did that before, while others can't, and they can all be in a freaking circle. Which is how you can have a little kid look at something and actually see it somehow. Still don't know how that is possible. And yet everyone else can look at the same exact spot and not see anything. It might actually be with how water is being moved or how it's being used as an ionic solution. Because I hope you know it's not only about water, it's about water being a conductive medium. That's what it is. Especially in those old rundown buildings, I can guarantee you that some of those metals, some of those old wood have leached into that water to the point where, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there, especially bacteria. But it's great for an ionic solution, especially if you want electrolysis. But also thinking in that way, if it's conductive, then that means any electromagnetic field could possibly move it. I use high quotes because you do need either a focused beam or a lot of it. So the fact that people are able, multiple or even just one targeted person is able to be affected by one spirit while other people can't, it might be tied to water. That is my strong theory right now. And that's something that no one has ever really drawn a correlation to. Like, why is it always that the mysterious things, everything that creepy, quote unquote, ghost like, ghastly, always has to deal with water? Why is that the case? That's, you know what? You know what? To those future people years from now that ain't watching this, if y'all not gonna do it, I'm gonna find out. I'm not gonna actively search for it. I'll let it come to me. Because somehow, water, water is the only medium right now that is close enough to connect us to our loved ones from the past grave. I have to contemplate on this. I have to contemplate on this. And as always, stay peaceful, blessed up, miracle up, and know that you will appreciate what take care of. By the divine one above all our highest source, God is was everyone that truly and genuinely and deeply cares about you. Deeper than the souls, always remember that here you are loved. We care about you here if no one else does. We do. I do. Know that no matter what, we are always here to give that listening ear. Don't be afraid to talk to us. Don't be afraid to talk with us. We're here for you. We'll listen. We won't judge. Say what you need to. We'll hear you out. Okay? Okay! Now come in for this hug. Yeah, come in. Now, let's go check the comments. Wouldn't want to leave before. Let's see. What's good, Bikram with Pretty Vlogs? Unique. No judgment, though. What's good, Selena? Thank you for realizing that. Jason the Plantagenet. That's a unique name. I like that. I like that. Little Uzi Berry. Little Uzi Berry. Oh my god. I'm gonna use that one. I like it. Bro. Bro, that's clever. That's clever. I like that. Let's see. I was thinking the same. Oh, Pences. Okay. You dirty minded son. Hello, Landon Songer. And that seems to be about all the comments. All right. In his own way, yes, I shape his out adios. Mwah, mwah.